Just one announcement before we get into the main event. The board, at its discretion, may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings, subject to the limitations set forth in Policy 006 meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following this board meeting. I will turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Mary Jo Yannicone.
Thank you, Mr. Bedard. I want to begin today by highlighting Hispanic Heritage Month. Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated from September 15th through October 15th each year, honoring the rich histories, cultures, and contributions of Americans whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and the Central and South Americas. This month recognizes the vital impact Hispanic and Latino communities have had on the United States in every field, from art, music, and literature to science, business, politics, and public service. In Springfield Township, our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month engaged students across all grade levels in meaningful and enriching experiences. At Enfield Elementary, our youngest learners explored the lives and contributions of influential Hispanic figures through interactive activities, stories, and videos. We extend our sincere thanks to Mi Pueblo, a local restaurant owned by a district family, for their generous donation of churros for our staff. At the middle school, students participated in an afternoon of hands-on Hispanic heritage activities, including crafts and literature-based sessions. We were proud to welcome members of the High School Latino Society, who not only helped plan the event, but also supported middle school students throughout the day. The celebration concluded with a shared treat of churros, a traditional Hispanic dessert. Throughout the district, students contributed to the celebration by creating bulletin boards, exploring literature from our school libraries, and engaging in classroom lessons and activities that highlighted the remarkable impact Hispanic Americans have had on our society. As Mr. Bedard mentioned, we have a series of reports, so I'm not actually going to spend any time on the agenda items because our board members will be providing those, but I would like to recognize our outgoing members of the board who have served our school district so well at this time. Board members are elected by the community and volunteer their time and expertise to collaborate with the administration to set the vision for our schools, to approve the annual budget, and to provide residents' perspectives with regard to finance, facilities, curriculum and instruction, and policy. They are an integral part of our school district's healthy functioning, and their contributions have a direct impact on our students, staff, and families. I want to begin by recognizing Sarah Hughes. Sarah joined us 4 years ago and has served as a member of the Finance and Policy Committees. During her tenure, Sarah has distinguished herself by asking thoughtful questions and engaging actively in the review and revision of all district policies over the last 3 years. Thank you, Sarah. Amy Hubley has also joined us 4 years ago and has served as a member of the Policy and Academic Affairs Committees. During her tenure, Amy has been a valued resource in educational matters, given her background as a school counselor and parent of 2 graduates of the high school. Amy's ability to pose meaningful, driving questions and to deepen our critical thinking about education and policy matters is most appreciated. She has also balanced her role as a board member and a parent most effectively. And finally, Karen Taratuski. Karen has served the board for 12 years, which is a long stint, most recently as a member of the Property and Academic Affairs Committees. During her tenure, Karen participated in the planning and execution of the high school renovation and addition, the construction of Enfield Elementary and the Church Road athletic fields, and the planning of the middle school renovation and addition project currently underway. Her expertise as an educational administrator with strong knowledge of special education and support services has made her an invaluable member of the Academic Affairs Committee. Most notably, Karen served as board president through the challenging years of the pandemic. Her ability to lead in turbulent times, her commitment to professionally and diligently focusing her efforts on meeting the needs of all Springfield students, and her dedication to elevating equitable practices as a cornerstone of the district vision have positively changed Springfield Township schools and set us up for continued success. She was instrumental in the drafting of the district's equity vision, now displayed in every school and office building, and she has helped to develop clarity on the board with regard to roles and responsibilities of board members. On behalf of the administration, we are very grateful to Sarah, Amy, and Karen for their willingness to step forward as community leaders, and we wish them well in their next steps beyond the board. You are always welcome here, and we hope that you will take a well-deserved rest after next month's election. I do have a gift for each of you, and I'll present them to you. What the administration has provided is a journal with our school district's mission and your years of service. I've written a personal note to each of you, which you can save for later as a thanks, and we have a set of flowers for each of you to take with you. So I'll present them to you, and I know, even though I do have a Spartan spotlight, I wanted to give the board members a chance to say your piece to your colleagues tonight. So I'll give these out while you guys are doing that.
Great. And I'll start on behalf of the board. I think Dr. Yannicone, you said it really well and highlighted each of the strengths of these board members. I just want to add to it. Sarah, when I think about the role that you've played, it really sings to me the word engagement. And I think one of the roles that we each play for each other is modeling the right behaviors to demonstrate to the administration we're paying attention, to the community that we're engaged, and the way in which you approach every committee meeting with the right questions and thoughtful review of everything was, for me, a reminder of the level of engagement that's required. So thank you for setting that tone for the entire team. Amy, we're going to miss your academic prowess. Like you brought something to this board that I think is going to be missing until we get new board members in here with a background like yours, such a strong perspective on what really works all the way from the classroom to culture. And again, you've been an incredible mentor to me as we've all learned together how to navigate board service. And Karen, a friend and a leader. Yes, you led us through COVID, but I think you didn't need to remind me, because when I walked into the building today, what I see there is the equity vision statement, and you were the architect of the board's engagement in building an equity vision for the district, ultimately leading to our equity action plan. And now we have a school that has some of the highest belonging ratings that you could ever imagine. You've left that legacy and mark, and I just want to thank you for that. It will continue to have an impact. Yeah. Other board members, anyone want to add?
So that nothing could be added to that. I just want to say here, wish you all best of luck. And as Dr. Yannicone said, a very well-deserved rest.
And if you have any comments, will be limited to 3 minutes.
I'll be timing.
I want to say it's been a pleasure serving with all of you and getting to know you all. I want to call out Dr. Taratuski, just to point out that I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for, I guess I'll call it, I don't know, is it outreach or what, that, but I don't know how you convinced me to run for, anyway, thank you for everything you've done and for getting me involved with the school district.
It truly has been an honor and a privilege to be elected as a representative from the township to serve on this board. And I really, I have accepted a high responsibility, I guess, in being here, and felt that this was an important calling for me to be here. And I appreciate the opportunity from the community and to work with all of you. I've dragged a lot of you into being on the board because I know how much you care about the township, our students, and the values that you have that are so important to our district. So, and Dr. Yannicone, thank you so much for being a strong leader, and working with both you and Dr. Hacker have been an amazing opportunity and have really taught me what leadership is about in education. So it's been a learning experience on both sides. Thank you.
I would just say something similar. I would like to thank the community for entrusting me with this responsibility. I think that being elected was very meaningful, and it has been a joy to work with all of you and to get to know all of you. So I appreciate that opportunity too. Thank you.
Yeah, +1 on all that in terms of, yeah, just, it's not something I had ever imagined for myself, and you were part of recruiting me. And so I appreciate the conversations and the encouragement, particularly as someone who came without any kind of education background or expertise, other than my lived experience. And so I appreciate the ways that I was welcomed. The last 2 years between opening a small business and significant personal things that happened this year, I know that my engagement was not at the level that it was, but it is nice to be reminded that in my more focused time when I didn't have those competing things. But I just also want to thank my fellow board members for your patience with me in that process. But I am excited and look forward to continuing to be involved. And I love the opportunity to learn how a school district works. And as someone who's not in education, that was an incredibly valuable opportunity. So thank you all.
Well, thank you all once again, and I hope the next month is relatively peaceful for all of you in your last month on the board. I want to transition to our Spartan Spotlight. As you know, this year we've made the decision to focus on our district values. And tonight, Dr. Markle and Dr. Rittenhouse are going to speak about pride and excellence. So Dr. Markle, come on up.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here to talk a little bit about Enfield. I'm the proud principal of our K-2 building.
We're just waiting for
For
the
the-
slide presentation.
Yes,
which is
we
on its way.
prepared some pictures just so I can talk a little bit more about what a great year we're off to. There we go. Next slide. So this is a picture of our very first opening assembly. That is all 575 students, our kindergarten, first and second graders. We always like to come together and talk about what Spartan Pride is and what it means to be an Enfield student, and just to really build that community that we feel so strongly in, and appreciated Enfield and in our school district. We have something new this year, though. We have a Springfield, Pride chant. And so we were teaching that to our students this year. And then we say this chant every morning on the morning announcements. So Mr. Fleming and I will announce it's time for the Spartan Pride chant. We lead it, and then the students follow along with us. So we're really happy about that. I'm happy to do it if you would like, but the words are up there. But it's just a nice way to tie in our 3 expectations of being safe, respectful, and responsible as Enfield students. Next. Thanks. Something else we just started the first week of, we've been doing this tradition for many years. It's our Star Student of the Week. And this is an opportunity that every single Enfield student gets to be the Star Student at least once for the school year. And so as Star Student, these students have an important job. They help us to be leaders. They help us to show what it means to have responsibility and respect, and how to be safe. And then each morning, Mr. Fleming and I get to meet with the Star students. And so they come down, we talk about their week, and in the classrooms, they also get to do some special fun things as the Star of the Week. And some things, they get to be line leader, and they get to choose the book that they're going to read that day, and they get to bring some pictures in and some special things. And so it's just a really nice opportunity to highlight each student. And I do want to thank EHSP. They also help to provide little tokens that the students get when they're Star of the Week. Something else that I was going to share. Dr. Yannicone talked a little bit about Hispanic Heritage Month and how we celebrated that. I wanted to give Mrs. Kohler, our ELD teacher, a shout out. She did a really wonderful job of pulling some new resources together for our teachers to use. And just like Dr. Yannicone shared, we highlighted some certain Hispanic Americans in each grade. And so like one of the kindergarten grades, they learned about the actor Ismail, who is on Sesame Street. And so there was just a really nice connection for them, for our students. And we had a really, really wonderful month of celebrating that. We understand the importance of that should continue all year long, but to highlight this important month. And then we enjoyed some churros from our family that has a local restaurant in Germantown. So that was really special for us. Yeah, and just really focusing on Hispanic Heritage Month of how does learning about the past and the present really inspire our future, and our students are our future. And so we had a really wonderful month of celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And then the next picture, you'll see those delicious churros. There we go. And next slide. And so part of talking about excellence, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my staff. The entire district has wonderful staff, but I'm going to highlight and focus on Enfield staff. We really work hard in what we do. We believe in what we do. And so this is one of our favorite pictures that we like to do. It's the first week where we all come on the learning stairs and gather and take this picture. I look at this picture and I'm inspired by the wonderful people that I get to work with every day. And although I can't highlight every single one of them, I think everybody understands that together, the work that they do to really help support our students to be the best that they can be. And so that's our group picture for the year. And then next slide. Just a couple highlights. These are things that have already happened in the beginning of the year. Just little snapshots of how the staff really go above and beyond to provide wonderful experiences for our students. One of our teachers brought in some puppy therapy dogs to come and meet with the students. And so that was a wonderful experience. I also wanted to highlight, we have some new teachers with us this year that are really just doing a great job, but I can't thank the new teachers without thanking our veteran teachers who have really provided a lot of support and professional development and mentoring. And so it's really a team approach working together to show that staff excellence. We have a new librarian this year, and she's doing a great job. But really, the whole staff coming together. That's a picture from one of our professional development sessions, and I like it. I capture it because that's the intention that they have. They're reading an article, and we're talking about, what are great strategies to teach our K-2 students. And so I just want to recognize the excellence we have in our staff. And my final slide. This is, you think about on and off or in and out of school, but this is Erin Durham. She's one of our coaches. She just recently became a world record holder for deadlifting. So she deadlifted 391.3 pounds. And then she earned a national record for bench press with 172 pounds. And so we were just so in all of her, and some teachers and students made her that sign. And I just think it's another reminder of the excellence we have in our staff. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Martel. Dr. Rittenhouse is going to speak about the high school, and lest anybody worry, at a future meeting, Erdenheim and the middle school will be featured. We just figured 2 was enough for one night based on how long we usually try to have these spotlights go.
I'm here. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance. I'm here to highlight student pride and excellence at Springfield Township High School. Merit scholarships. Approximately 2 million high school students take the PSAT based on a cut score. I think Pennsylvania scores about 214, 215. They identify about 50,000 students. So 2 million goes down to 50,000. And then based on PSATs, SATs, GPA, and essay, guidance recommendation, my recommendation, and several other factors, it's determined, national merit is determined. Next slide, please. The merit scholars become a national merit semifinalist, and you can see that's Ari. And then national merit commendants, Isaac, Josephine, Lil, Nell, Elias, and William. Those numbers, like I said, is about 36,000 for commended, and I think 14,000, something like that, for semifinals. For our small school, this is a great number. like this is a number that I'm certainly really proud of. And our kids and staff really work hard, and they get a certificate. I put their name on the outside board. It's announced on the television studio, et cetera. So we're really, really proud of the students. So next slide, please. National Honor Society induction juniors a couple evenings ago. There are the names of the juniors who were recognized at NHS at the end of last week in the high school auditorium, and then we have a reception down in the Steel Gym, and you can certainly see the names there. I'm not going to read them all, but that's also a very big number for us, in compared to past years. And then the juniors are honored more formally. Next slide, please, up on the stage. And they're your seniors. And again, they then at NHS, the kids announce their names, which I always love, and then they talk about just a couple facts about them and future plans and what they want to major in. And it's a really just a special night for both the juniors and the seniors. And again, very proud of this large number. Next slide, please. So we have been recognizing Athletes of the Month in the past, and then we're now starting to recognize Students of the Month, and we're making it more formal that we have an October. We recognize those students in October, then November, December. We have student meetings, class meetings, which I find more effective sometimes than text messages and emails and my voice over the intercom. And we just bring the entire school down, and we just have quick 5 to 10 minute assemblies right before lunch and learns. Kids do a great job with it. They get to see each other, but everybody's together. We can make some announcements. And this past October meeting, my administrative team, it's one of our goals to feature our wonderful students here monthly, daily, but of course more formally monthly. So we started a more formalized Athlete of the Month program and Student of the Month program. And our October Student Athlete of the Month was Roman Corcoran. And I watched our Springfield Township High School soccer team beat North Penn in the playoffs 2 hours ago. And then ran in, for the meeting, and Roman certainly was a big part of that. Was really great. We had a great crowd tonight. So he was your October student athlete for the boys soccer. And next, Grace Tolan, and who is a water polo player. And our girls water polo team has had a great season this year. They get a bye in the playoffs. So they're not playing in the near future, and we're looking forward to watching them in the playoffs. So they're your two male and female athletes of the month here at the high school. Next slide, please. And then we then also feature activities. Mr. LaRocco does a great job in charge of activities. That is Ruby Broussard. I have my pep band shirt on. This is a 12-year ago version. She is the more current version. You can certainly see some a quote about her there. And she is involved in all of our, Ruby's involved in all of our music ensembles, and was on the interview team last year for our new orchestra teacher. And she is selected, and I didn't mention too, the student athletes of the month the student athletes of the month are selected by our coaches and our athletic director, and the students of the month are selected by the staff, not by the administrative team. It's their staff decisions. And then that's focusing on our music program. The other activity this month would be, next slide, please. Isaac Darga was our featured speaker. He welcomed back our staff. I would say Dr. Yannicone, his speech was inspiring and did a great job. We pick a student each year to speak to the staff on the first day that they come back into our high school and into the district. And Isaac was that individual, and he's very active and very talented on the stage. But he is also big in youth and government, and you see him in front of our nation's capital there in Washington, D.C. Last year. Next slide. We then do our Students of the Month for each grade. You can certainly see the quotes, amazing academic effort and growth is amazing, and bright light, positive attitude. So you see our October 9th grade Student of the Month is, next slide, Maddie or Madeline Wilson. On to next slide for 10th grade, please. very kind and willing to help in the Aplex during lunch and learn, kind, honest, and respectful. And you certainly see those comments. That's 10th grade. Next slide. And that's Madison Borzaleka. And then 11th grade. And you can see all around fantastic student and kind human. These are quotes from the staff. Again, it's not the administrative team. It's our staff picking students. And this is an individual who's very active, not only in our library, but an excellent student. And that's Adam DiBattista. And again, I was out watching him play soccer a couple hours ago. And then finally, for our senior class, walks in the room, just adds so much to the space. Polite, kind, understanding, certainly who would not want to be spoken about like that. I mean, just such a wonderful young man. That's Chadra Kiamba. And then what I then do is I take the 2 student athletes and then the 4 athletes of the month. And then I then select who is our Spartan of the month and our Spartan of the month this year. Next slide. Is Chadrick. And so we're formalizing, so the kids will get to see this in every month. So we had, September was a short month. We'll do that October through June. And kids did a really great job in the assembly. I was really proud of them. And then one final slide. And just some of our high school accolades, which we have mentioned some of them, but we're just proud of our USN News and World Report ranking, Special Olympics as a national unified school, National Association of Music Merchants, and then finally an ADL school. I think it shows the variety of excellence and achievement here at the high school. So thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rittenhouse and Dr. Markle. I let them both know their day starts very early and that they would be free to go at the end of this presentation. Thank you both very much. And as I said, each month we'll try to bring a new focus to the board, centered around our values, and we'll see what next month brings. Thank you again. That concludes my report.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rittenhouse and Dr. Merkel. Appreciate you. We are now going to get into our reports and information. I think we have a update from the homeschool partnership team. Do we have Haley Dennis or Nicole Willis with us for an update? See if we have anyone online. Do not see. All right, well, we'll get an update from our homeschool partnership team at our next meeting. Now we're going to turn it over to Dr. Bill Tafik to give an update on the Multicultural Parents Association.
Right? Filled with such energy all night, where you got to stay on it. So hello, everyone, bringing you greetings from the Multicultural Parent Association. And for those board members who are cycling off, you will be missed, but my big doc, it's funny, we've walked this walk since I got here in 2013, and it is truly with a shield and a sword she wielded. And like you said, our equity and just leading together has been a pleasure. And, and it's an example of truly the courage that it takes. And I've been honored to walk that walk with you. All right, not that you guys are all really special. Now, so bringing you wonderful minutes, guess what? That energy truly does pour down to our administration and our other families, and the courage to be resilient. And so we are excited. MPA was excited to start off the new school year with our first meeting on October 15th. We were joined by Shana Rudd, a psychotherapist and professor at University of Pennsylvania, where we had an honest conversation about race. And it was one that was deep, it was moving, it was honest, and it is encouraging, right? In the midst of the time of challenge and change. And so it's funny, as I also applaud the high school, not that I'm impartial, I graduates, but that sign over there on the bookshelves, and how many of you read those signs coming in, right? Censorship, right? What does that say? Censorship leads to fascism. Our children said that out of mouths of babes. And that's how I'm glad to know in the district that we truly lead. And so we look forward then to our next meeting, December 10th, and hope families will join us. We also look forward to partnering with EHSP as we plan for the Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day on November 14th. And we will be looking forward to parent volunteers. Signups will be circulating soon. And we hope you will join us in honoring Ruby Bridges by encouraging your students, high school, middle, also at elementary, to wear purple and walk if they are safely able to. And so that is our minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? All right. Thank you. Our next update will come from our student representative to the board, Mr. Martinez Cortez.
Good afternoon. I'll start with Enfield. October was an exciting month at Enfield. Their staff worked hard to create meaningful experience that fostered both learning and community across our K through second classrooms. One highlight was our Kindergarten Fairy Tale Olympics, where students engaged in activities inspired by classic fairy tales. The event concluded with a crowd favorite, a live entertainment of The Torso and the Hare, featuring Dr. Marco and Mr. Fleming, which brought laughter, energy, and a memorable lesson about perseverance to our young learners. The second graders took a field trip to the Churchville Nature Center. Students explored local habitats and deepened in their understanding of life cycles and ecosystems. On October 16th, the kindergarten students were treated to a K-9 demonstration. Local police officers introduced their trained K-9 partners, allowing students to learn about safety, community helpers, and the important role of service animals. They will close out the month with one of the most beloved traditions, the annual Halloween party on October 31st. The parade will take place at 9:30 a.m. and families are invited to join them in their bus loop to observe. Students and staff are looking forward to this day. Then in Orderheim, October's off to a strong start at Orderheim. Students and teachers have settled into daily routines, and Mr. Spector and Miss Robinson have enjoyed visiting classrooms and see engaging lessons in ELA, math, science, and social studies. And in special area subjects, students are engaged in working hard each day. The music program is in full swing. All music lessons and rehearsals have begun. They are excited to see high school student participation again this year. Thank you to Mr. Gibson, Dr. Benton, and Miss Claire Wadey for their dedication and support of our students and musicians. The Real Olympics are underway. On October 13th, Miss O'Donnell, the librarian, welcomed 4th and 5th grade students for their first Reading Olympics meeting of the year. Students will spend the coming months reading selected books and preparing for the spring competition. The 5th grade team building trip to Camp America on October 30th and 21st. 5th grade students traveled to Camp America for their annual team building experience. It was a great opportunity for students to train peer leadership, build trust, and work together to solve challenges, all while having a lot of fun. Thank you to our EEHSP for a successful trunk or treat. On Saturday, October 18th, families gathered at Ordenheim for their annual trunk or treat event. Many thanks to our volunteers and families who decorated trunks and donated candy to help make the event such a success. Looking ahead, the annual costume parade and fall festival will take place on October 31st. Details have already been shared with families, and we are looking look forward to celebrating with their students. Then in middle school, they are busy bees at STMS. Fall sports are underway. The student council is holding elections, and the construction is on target. The new main office and entrance will be open in January 2026. The students wish Mr. Payne all the very best on the next adventure. His last day is November 7th. The middle school is filled with students who are engaged, talented staff, and lots of fun of learning. Then lastly, in high school, Student of the Month, congratulations to all the students selected as October Students of the Month in academics and activities. These students show Spartan values. Special recognition goes to Kadri Kamba, chosen by Dr. Rittenhouse as overall Student of the Month. Well done. Then in Arts and Hispanic Heritage Month, in celebration of the Arts and Hispanic Heritage Month, ceramic artist Nitsa Welguska visited STHS to share her work rooted in Puerto Rican heritage. Student and staff created clay art tiles, which will be fired and installed as a permanent piece in the high school cafeteria. The golf team's success. The golf team won the Suburban One of League Freedom Division championship for the 16th consecutive year. Congratulations to the team, Coach Ruby and Coach Sharby. The team was also competed in the Sherbert One League competition on October 7th. And that's my report. Thank you.
Brian, great job. Very comprehensive. This is always a busy time of year. Any comments or questions from the board? All right. Thank you very much for the updates. Now I'm going to tell everyone we've got 3 committee meeting reports. I'm going to ask everyone to hold the applause until all 3 reports have been, and then we'll see who gets the most applause here. First up will be policy committee meeting, and we'll hear from Mr. Sean Jordan.
Thank you very much. The policy committee was held on September 29th at 5 p.m. The committee members in attendance were Dr. Aberly and myself, student representatives, Mr. Gebb, Ms. Keats, and Ms. McGuigan. The administration in attendance was Dr. Yannicone, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Lutz, Mr. Ferrero, and Mr. LaRocco. The agenda items were as follows. Policy 102, academic standards. The proposed changes reflect changes recommended by the PA Department of Education to district STEELS standards that school districts must implement by the 25-26 school year. They included changes in the STEM requirements for the 25 and 26 school year, minor changes to language in the definitions section, and clarification of subjects in the authority section. It was noted that the Family and Consumer Services noted in the policy are not specific courses, but covers life skills and other lessons integrated within the current school curriculum. Policy 105, curriculum. The proposed changes were to integrate the specific language from the Department of Education on direct instruction to students on holidays and or events greater than the current curriculum. Actually it added a special instruction of services section. And it was noted that the instruction will be varied based on grade level. Policy 123, interscholastic athletics. The proposed changes were to align with the PIAA bylaws that have been recently modified. The changes were to ensure students have no obvious injuries that place students or others at enhanced risk of injury, verify that all students are covered by health or accident insurance provided by either the parents or the school district, consolidation of athletic handbooks and the student handbooks, in addition of language to align with Title IX regulations to offer programs for both sexes based on enrollment. Also, policy 137 was reviewed. The policy changes are as follows: to add clarification for acceptable documentation to initiate home education that include either a signed affidavit or unsworn declaration. Added updated guidance on family documentation on immunization records and or exemption, and health medical services that are in line with the PDE school code requirements, and also to clarify the end of year evaluation that must be completed by June 30th of the current school year. Policy 209.2, diabetes management. The policy was updated to include with delegation of responsibility section, the new requirement in compliance with PA School Code 24 PS section 14-1414.12 to provide parental notification of incoming elementary students and students entering the grade 6, the type 1 diabetes fact sheet developed by the PA Department of Health. Policy 815.3, text messaging. This is a new policy. And the new policy is to address text messaging within the broader policy 815, acceptable use of the internet, computers, and network resources, and AR 815.3 to answer questions that may arise. This is a result of the school district adopting Zoom phones for communication, and this expands the school district's privacy policy to include text messaging. Policy 918, Title I Parent and Family Engagement. The policy was revised as a result of non-regulatory guidance issued in January 2025 by the U.S. Department of Education related to compliance, transparency, and accountability in the use of federal funds. It was advised that districts utilize a revised document to include dated agendas and sign-in sheets for all meetings with families, and to revise the 2 recommended documents to the existing policy to highlight the ways in which the district is complying with the federal law. All of the noted policies will be presented to the board for adoption at tonight's meeting, except policies 123 and 815.3, which will be presented again for adoption at the next board meeting for a second read vote. There were no public comments at this meeting, and the next meeting will be held at Thursday, December 11th at 5 p.m. The meeting adjourned at 5:56 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. It's always a good reminder. That was just a recap of the meeting. That it was a very significant meeting. Any comments or questions from those who attended or those who just got the update from Mr. Jordan? Okay, great. Thank you. Our next committee update is academic affairs, and we'll get that from Dr. Lee Aberle.
Hello, good evening, everybody. The Academic Affairs Committee met on October 6th at 4 p.m. over Zoom. Committee members present were myself, Dr. Aberle, Mrs. Bell, Dr. Yannick and Dr. Johnson, our student representatives, Jordan Albanese and William May. The additional panelists were Dr. Dennis, Dr. Lutz, Dr. Markle, Mr. Spiker, Dr. Mangano, Dr. Rittenhouse, and Mr. Levin. We kicked off with Dr. Johnson introducing this year's school committee representatives, Jordan Albanese and William May. Both of these students are juniors at Springfield Township High School and are excited to learn more about our school district by participating in this committee. The board and administration truly value the insights provided by our student reps and welcome them to the committee. Next was followed by curriculum updates. The first was by Dr. Johnson, who provided an overview of the high school business department. There were 4 course overview maps presented and reviewed for approval. Firstly, personal finance and financial literacy. Secondly, introduction to business. Thirdly, principles of marketing. And lastly, entrepreneurship. All of the courses discussed are currently elective half-credit courses running every other day for 1 semester. Personal finance and financial literacy will be one of the options available for students to meet the upcoming state requirement for graduation beginning in the 2026-2027 school year. Next, Dr. Johnson and Dr. Yannick gave a presentation on performance results for the 2024-2025 academics performance and student achievement, including ELA Math for PSSA and Keystone testing, PSAT and the pre-ACT, as well as graduation rates. Data were reviewed for the 3-year trends for all measures from 2024-2025, with trend data shared for the previous 2 years as well. Examinations and analysis were considered through the lens of the overall student performance, as well as the disaggregated data demonstrating the proficiency results for those students experiencing economic disadvantages. I refer you to the recorded presentation for the slides sharing these data for further information. Next was a presentation on the 2025-26 action plans, where each building principal and director reviewed their building and departmental goals and strategic steps for the year ahead in areas of student achievement and staff development. Again, there are comprehensive details available by viewing the slide deck or watching a recording of the presentation. At this meeting, there was no public comment, and the next meeting date for the Academic Affairs Committee is November 24th at 4 p.m, and that will also be held as a virtual meeting over Zoom. That concludes the report.
Thank you, Dr. Aberle. Any questions, comments from the board? Okay, thank you for that update. Finally, bringing us home for committee meetings is the finance update, and we'll hear from Mr. Neil DeFranco.
Thank you, Mr. Bedard. The Finance Committee met by Zoom on Thursday, October 16th at 8 o'clock in the morning. Committee members in attendance were Mr. Bedard, myself, and Mr. Jordan. From the administration, we had Dr. Yannick, Ms. Green, and Mr. Coleman. And then our student reps, I believe, well, this was their first meeting, Alessandra Santorelli and Ella Di Pasquale. There was also one public attendee, or one attendee from the public, I'm sorry. The Finance Committee met, let's see, we began with the state and federal update from Dr. Yannicone. The Pennsylvania state budget is now more than 100 days overdue. Many districts across Pennsylvania have had to borrow funds or make cuts to cover expenses. But thanks to our community's timely tax payments, strong reserves, and prudent financial management, Springfield has avoided those disruptions so far. Due to the federal government shutdown, federal services and funds have halted. Additionally, certain funds are being held at the state level until the state budget impasse is resolved. Even so, the district continues to provide Title I reading, special education, and meal services despite roughly $3 million in state and federal pass-through funding being temporarily withheld. Ms. Green then presented the 2025-2026 financial overview. The approved budget includes approximately $74.8 million in revenue, $75.8 million in expenditures, and an anticipated use of fund balance of $975 million. Year to date, 64% of revenues have been collected and 17% of the budget has been expended. As of July 1st, the district's fund balance stood at $20.6 million. Our per pupil expenditure calculated under Pennsylvania Department of Education ESSA guidelines is $25,292 based on an October 1st enrollment of 2,455 students. This is the figure submitted to the state each year. The district's financial statements are audited annually under GASB standards using the modified accrual basis of accounting. Beginning in 2015, that's 10 years ago, a reporting change required all Pennsylvania districts to show their share of the statewide PSERS pension liability on the balance sheet. This is an accounting change, not a sign of distress. As reported in the 2023-2024 audit, Springfield's share of that liability was about $87 million, which contributes to a net pension deficit of approximately $51 million. But again, this is a state-managed obligation, not a local debt, and there is no scenario where taxpayers will be billed to fund that paper liability. Finally, our AA stable rating from Standard & Poor's and continued success with bond sales confirms that the district continues to be fiscally sound and responsibly managed. The committee also reviewed the 2025-2026 budget timeline. The Act 1 index for 2627 has been set at 3.5%, and the district's philosophy has consistently been to remain below the index when possible. Upcoming milestones include the accelerated budget opt-out resolution scheduled for approval at the November 18th board meeting, the Finance Committee meeting on November 19th to review the audit and budget discussion, and the subsequent budget workshops continuing through the spring, culminating with the final budget approval in June 2026. I encourage anyone interested in these discussions, especially if you may have encountered rumors or false narratives on the net position topic, to watch the Finance Committee meeting available on the district's website. There were no public comments, and our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 19th at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Yeah, can I just note one thing? The fund balance to be used is 975,000. Just, you said million. I just want to make sure we're okay with that.
Big difference.
Yeah.
As I was reading it, something didn't feel right, but I just kept going.
I got it. Somebody caught it. Yes. Thank you.
Good catch. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeFranco. Any comments or questions from the board? I'm glad Mr. Jordan was at the meeting as well. That's very helpful. And I apologize, we don't have a property committee update. We are meeting tomorrow morning, so we'll have more for the next meeting. I think that is our standard updates. You look like you wanted to give a comment, Dr. Yannicone.
Thought I might just mention one other item from the policy committee meeting for the public. One of the more substantive changes, and I apologize because I checked your report and I missed catching this, is that under new PIAA bylaws, students who attend faith-based schools within the township or are residents within the township who attend faith-based schools anywhere are eligible as of this winter season to participate in school district athletic programs if that program is not offered at their home school. So that's a significant change in expanding access for students to be involved in a healthy program, extracurricular programs. And we want to make sure the public is aware of that. So that's part of the revisions to policy 123.
I think the other part to that was that it doesn't change our school size is the other piece that
Yes,
was
thank you,
important
Dr.
to that, yeah.
Everly. I think it's important for people to note this is not going to bump us into the next league. It keeps, that we're not counted against us based on the enrollment of those faith-based schools. Thank you.
Can I make a quick plug too? Just to piggyback on the committee reports, because we have folks from the public who are joining us tonight. I just want to encourage attendance at these committee meetings. This is really where the push and pull and the real work of the board is done. At these are business meetings, right? And so it looks like we're all just kind of kumbaya and getting along, and we're all voting the same way. But there actually is quite a bit of push and pull at these committee meetings. So I want to really actively and strongly encourage members of the public, if you can, to attend the meetings, because I think you'll see quite a bit goes on at these committee meetings. So with that, I'll pipe down and let the meeting continue.
Well, I'm going to turn it right back to you, Mr. Needham, because we're going to open it up for public comments. Our first section of comments is always on agenda items. So I'll turn it over to you.
I always was very good at timing. So at this point, we'll take comment on agenda items. I do want to remind folks, we do have a 3-minute time limit. And I would just, anyone who wants to talk, I would just ask that you identify where you live in the township. We do have, I know we have some members of the public who are joining us this evening. I do have somebody who has signed up to speak on an agenda item. So at this time, I would call up Debbie Middleman. Please come on up. And according to the paper, you're at Poplar Road in Flowertown? Okay, perfect.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Middleman, and I've lived in Springfield Township for almost 24 years. I have 4 children. They've been students in this district for the past 19 years. My 3 oldest children graduated, and I currently have a freshman at the high school. I'm a firm believer in public school education and have made the very intentional decision to send my children to the public schools here in our township. My purpose in speaking tonight is to address the request by administrators seeking approval from the board to allow Adam Washam to use school facilities for the upcoming meeting regarding the EF Tours Europe trip planned for 2027. An email was recently sent out to families and students regarding the informational meeting for this trip. The email emphasized in bold lettering that the school district of Springfield Township does not organize, operate, or supervise the trip. I have 2 children who attended EF Tours trips. My daughter went to Italy and Greece 2 years ago. My daughter and son both went on the Europe trip this past June. We found out about both trips through communication by the school in e-blasts and flyers posted. Every communication that occurred regarding the trips was sent by Adam Washam with his school email, not his personal email. The meetings were at the school buildings. The trips were run by Adam Washam, who is a district employee. All the chaperones were district employees. Every single student and parent who went were in the district. The drop-offs and pickups for the trips were at the high school, and the Zoom meetings were facilitated by Mr. Washam and his school email. On the most recent trip, my daughter and 9 other students were singled out and interviewed by the tour leader and chaperones, all district employees, for drinking alcohol and the suspicion of being visibly intoxicated. It has been confirmed by multiple sources that almost every single student on the trip was drinking alcohol, but the 10 students were singled out. All 10 sets of parents were contacted by the tour leader and told that our children would lose the privilege of being unaccompanied on the tour for the next day or so. The next day, the tour leader contacted me and 3 other sets of parents and informed us directly that after speaking with Dr. Yannicone, he made the decision to send our 4 students home that day. This fact alone comes in direct conflict with the wording of the most recent email that the school district of Springfield Township does not supervise the trip. After our children were abruptly sent home on an airplane from Germany without any adults or chaperones, there was ongoing communication between myself, the other parents, and the district administrators, primarily the principal and the assistant superintendent, for several weeks.
Ms. Middleman, sorry to interrupt, just 1 minute left.
Right, yep. If the district does not organize, operate, or supervise the trip, the extensive amount of emails that occurred most likely should not have even happened. While I appreciate the effort of those administrators, the ongoing communication blurred the lines of the district being involved when they clearly stated in the recent email that they have no involvement or jurisdiction over the trip. Moving forward, I would request that the board not grant approval for the next meeting to use the school facilities. I would also request that Adam Washam be mandated to use his personal email to have any communication with potential students and families. I work for Penn Medicine and I'm not allowed to use my work email for anything that is not for professional use. If the district is very clearly stating that they do not organize, operate, or supervise the trip, Mr. Washam should not be allowed to use his school email address for anything related to EF Tours. The board and the district may also want to take the reputation of ES Tours into consideration while making the decision around allowing him to have future meetings at the school. EF Tours has had 310 complaints filed with the Better Business Bureau against them over the past 3 years. The Better Business Bureau also has an average of 1 out of 5 stars for 94 customer reviews for EF Tours. There have been and are currently multiple lawsuits against EF Tours, including a class action lawsuit regarding the refusal to refund $500 deposits for tours they canceled due to the COVID pandemic.
Ms. Middleman, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's time. I'm
Okay.
sorry to interrupt.
Can I just say 2 more sentences? I just would implore you to take all this information into consideration, and I
right.
appreciate you listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very helpful.
Thank you. And I don't see that anyone else has signed up to speak on an agenda item, and I don't see that any hands are raised by the folks who are joining us online. So I think we can move on.
Great.
Can I
Thank
just
you.
ask a question?
Please.
If you didn't have a chance to finish that, would you mind emailing a copy? Thank you so much. To the board.
If there are no other public comments, let me re-find where we are. We're going to approve some minutes and reports. So we are. Yep. Yeah. Just the slots in right at the end. Yep. You got it. All right. Approval of minutes. We're going to approve the minutes from the September 16th, 2025 regular board meeting. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on the minutes? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, that will pass. The treasurer's report. The recommended action this evening is the Board of School Directors approves the September 2025 treasurer's report. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on this month's report? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Treasurer's report is good. On to human resources. Just one action this evening. The Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment 2025-1021. This is for administrative personnel, support personnel, temporary personnel, and extra pay for extra responsibilities for 2025 and 2026. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? On the personnel file, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Personnel file is good. Under academic affairs, just one item this evening, the recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves the sharing of information regarding the proposed optional international learning opportunity to Portugal and Spain for high school students, tentatively scheduled for June 22nd to July 2nd, 2027. This approval permits designated group leaders to distribute information, post flyers, and hold informational sessions for students and families in order to educate them about the trip's purpose, logistics, and associated costs prior to any decision to participate. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second.
Second.
All right. Any comments or questions on the field trips?
I have a question on that. So I assume that this is the trip that the comment was based on. So what we're approving here is the sharing of information regarding the proposed trip. We're not approving the proposed trip, but it sounds like we wouldn't be approving it because it's not school function.
So this is not a straightforward answer, but I'll do my best, and perhaps Mr. Sultana can assist us if necessary. We've consulted with our solicitor and a number of other districts because it is a challenge that we promote a trip that is not our trip, but it is our staff who work under that company, whether it's EF Tours or another company, to run international trips or overnight trips. We are working based on the feedback we received after several of the more recent trips, where we ran into some challenges around supervision of students and expectations between the company and ourselves for responsibility. Dr. Johnston is working with our administrators and the company to bring forward revisions to the overnight trip policy, which will be at our December meeting. I can't remember the exact date. Oh, I think the 11th is it is policy. That's right. So Thursday, December 11th. So in consultation with our solicitor, as well as based on the feedback that we did receive from parents who were directly affected from the most recent trip and a trip before that, 2 years earlier than that, we are hopeful that the revisions to the policy will clarify the role of the district and the role of the tour company. The reason why Dr. Johnston, and you can feel free to let me know if I missed something, the reason why Dr. Johnston brought this agenda item forward today is because there is a lead time that's required in order to gauge whether or not there is sufficient interest to proceed. Is there anything I'm missing there? Okay. So our expectation is that you will see revised policy language later this fall. That's in line with our legal representation, our legal recommendations that will allow trips like this to be able to continue to be publicized in a location and in a means that's accessible to all of our families, but clarifies lines of responsibility and supervision moving forward.
Can I also ask a question? And I realize that this is my last meeting, but like, would you be willing to table this vote because of that, the change in policy?
Dr. Johnson, is there any impact if we table and wait until after the December meeting? Do you want to come up to the microphone?
There's a tentative scheduled parent and family student information session scheduled for later this week pending this approval. So in the event that we don't approve it this evening and that's not what happens, they'll just postpone that until the approval comes through, or we make an alternative decision.
And so a follow-up question on that is, if we approve the sharing of information regarding a proposed optional international learning opportunity, do we then lose all ability to interact with this trip? Like, what's the downside to us voting on this? Do we still have the ability to address these concerns, including, whether or not the district is, I don't know, has control over the trip? That may not make any sense.
You think you can?
Sure. I think that's what we're trying to figure out, right? So in the past, we've approved the trip, but we did the exact same thing, which is to say we're helping to allow students to get and families to get information about the trip, but it's not our trip. But I think that line is blurred. And so the language that we're looking at would more greatly clarify it. We've talked with our suburban neighbors who have these kinds of trips. Some don't have them at all. Some have no contact whatsoever. It completely happens in an offsite facility. The communication happens through personal email. Other districts have sort of a blurred approach, as I'm going to call our approach a little more blurred, where it's coordinated using district email or posting signs on the walls of the buildings because that's where the students are. And so we feel that from our perspective in the past, at least, has been the most accessible way for families and kids to know that they're even coming. Otherwise, we are concerned that there's not an equitable sharing of the information. Like, I can make sure that it's equitable because it's here and I can see it. That said, we do have, it's not really our trip. It's not our policy. It's their working operations. Parents pay directly to that company. There is no money exchange with the district nor the group leader. It's paid directly to, in this case, EF Tours. This coming summer, the trip is happening to Japan. So it happens, but it's a different company called Passports. But the vendors are interchangeable in that they each have their own logistics about the process. So from our perspective, allowing them to post the posters and have information gives people information to make their decision about how they want to proceed. We are putting other recommended steps in place that we'll present to the policy committee in December to make sure that we feel like it's the right approach for this school district going forward. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I'm just thinking at our last meeting, you did also approve a middle school advertisement of the trip in the similar vein. So, and I'll just speak to specifically the accessibility piece. there is one district that we are aware of who does not allow any information to be distributed by the district. Our concern around that is that then there are families who do not have either the means or the feasibility or the access to be able to get information. And we don't want to further exacerbate the haves and have-nots of these types of overnight trips. So that's where we're feeling a little bit caught between a rock and a hard place. So, and again, we have consulted with our attorney to make sure that we are continuing to hold the district in a strong position with regard to liability. But we'll defer to you. If you want us to delay, we'll delay.
Can I ask, I actually can't recall where the middle school trip was to, but it was to Puerto Rico. Okay, so that's a separate trip than this. It's not the same trip for middle school students. It was a different trip. And will the policies and practices that we're working on in terms of changing or revising our policies and practices around trips, will those be applicable to the middle school trip also? So that's district-wide?
Yes, this would be all overnight trips, international trips. And there's designation that we have in our draft policy language that, again, we've been working on with our legal team is the division of overnight trips, for example, an athletic competition where students are overnight for state championships versus a trip where we are promoting the trip in order to provide information to families, but we are not accepting funds, passing through funds, providing any kind of guidance to the policies and practices of whichever vendor we're using. And to Dr. Johnson's point a moment ago, we use several different vendors depending on the trip. And it depends on the department as well. So we have historically had trips that have come out of a more social, political, cultural background, and we've had trips that have been promoted through the World Language Department that are meant to be part cultural, part language immersion. And the middle school trip is a sort of a coming of age kind of opportunity for students to get beyond local culture. Yeah.
Just want to add a bit of perspective because I thought the comment this evening, thank you, was well stated and really clarified the problem. I had heard lots of feedback around the trip from this past summer, and we've had dialogue, Dr. Johnson as well. And I think the blurring of whether or not this is a school activity or a activity that happens that students are participating in, I think is the crux of the issue. I also am satisfied that the administration understands that issue and is going to rectify it via policy. These informational sessions are important only because parents, I know this because our daughter attended one of these trips, need to save money and need to plan for the expense, which is significant for some of these trips. And it takes a period of time to, set up that planning for many, if not all of the families in our district. And so I personally feel as though we should keep marching towards creating opportunities for students to have cultural immersion, but just be really clear on where are the lines of responsibilities and make that clear to parents who are putting money out and students who are looking to create this opportunity, because it's that lack of clarity that's causing the issue, not the trip itself. And I think we solve that via policy, not by restricting the access to the information. So I would propose that we continue to vote on this.
Jeff, just to add to what you're saying, when I reread this, it says we're just approving the sharing of information.
Right.
So we're not approving whether or not the trip happens or not. We're just sharing that there could be a meeting. Am I reading that correctly? Yes. Okay.
Dr. Johnson, will there be a representative from the district attending this meeting?
There can be. There was not planned to be.
Yeah, I think it would be valuable to set that tone that this is not a school run trip and to make sure that that is communicated clearly from the first contact that families would have on planning the trip. And if that is made very clear through the materials, that's one approach. I think having someone from the district who could answer questions and clarify would be helpful as well.
I have a question as well. So is it clear to families when students attend these trips what policies are being followed? Because they won't be school district policies. So there'll be policies that are managed by this the travel company themselves. So is that clear to parents as well?
So I would suggest that some parents feel it is and some parents feel it is not. And that's what we want to try to do a better job of in revising the policy. I do want to just mention, per your question a minute ago, it was my understanding from our legal guidance that if a school district representative was present at the information session, it would further blur the lines as to whether or not this was a district trip or a private trip. And so that's why we were not having a district employee in their role as a district administrator attending the meeting.
I might posit to our solicitor, Mr. Sultanic, if we had a district representative who made a statement that this is not a district sponsored event, to drive clarity, that would not create a lack of clarity.
That's a fabulous question. This is a shades of gray determination, so it's going to be very fact-based under the circumstances. So I can't say definitively that there's a bright line between whether somebody disclaims, I'm here, but I'm really not here, which is what you're saying. So I think on balance, however, based upon the documentation used by EF Tours, it really is not technically our trip, but we do, the more involved we're in the process, the more, putting aside the legal aspects of it, to the community that we serve, it looks like we're supervising and monitoring the trip when we really don't control the trip. And it creates different perceptions and I could use a fancy word, the imprimatur of approval of the trip by just participating and being more involved with the process. It's no different than if you have a home and school association and we want to have a lot or wield influence on that. They're a separately created entity. And the more involvement you have with a third-party entity, the more it looks to everybody that we're controlling the situation when we do not.
Do they have to have the meetings at school? Can they have them in like the library or another community building?
They can have them off campus. They could have it at the Township Library.
Yeah.
We know of one district who has, after a very difficult incident, they have completely disavowed any information about the trips and everything.
No, because I
happens
just think
privately.
about, like, you know, I remember when my youngest was in kindergarten getting flyers for like Cub Scouts, right? So you're going to get that and it's going to come home, but it's not on school premises. So
Yeah.
can you kind of draw that line between, we can give you the information, but the meeting isn't on campus?
We can. This is what we want to talk about at policy committee,
Okay.
quite frankly, because
Yeah.
there's a pro and a con to that.
Sure.
When we limit information access here at school, we narrow the field of students and families who may have information in a timely manner to be able to make a decision to start saving or ask for financial assistance, et cetera. So our concerns around promotion and advertisement are based in our concepts around equity practices. With that said, again, if you would like to wait till the policy meeting, we can absolutely table it and we can wait until after policy is revised. That would take us, in theory, to early February. Because if we discuss in December and then we have to have a reading of the policy, we're probably looking at early February.
So I don't mean to just beat this further, but my concern here is in trust, and I might be naive about this, but I've seen these communications in the past. I'm on the school board. I didn't realize the separation. I have an email here that says STHS World Travelers are planning. I mean, I look at stuff like this and I don't see any separation whatsoever. And so, you know, there's my concern. That said, all these information sessions, if they don't include the issues from the past, they're not very informative. I don't know what I want everybody to do with that statement. I'm just making my statements.
I would suggest having a meeting this week that is informational is pretty low risk. But we should absolutely have the administration team bring back via policy how we're going to approach this. And we can always change our position and say that future meetings, future communications be removed from the district. And I would recommend that we do that as a future vote, but not postpone the opportunity for people to learn about the trip and what's happening. That's my perspective. And I'm open to others.
And I would agree just to bring up the point that the middle school one did already happen and is in motion. And so I'm just thinking logically, unless the argument is that we've been presented new information, it doesn't, it might not make sense to stop this information session from happening when we just approved another one.
Sorry. I guess my question would be, are you allowing it to happen here at school? Because that seems to be what part of the issue is. And I hear what you're saying, Dr. Yanigan, about who gets that information, but I would tell you, being a member of the community and having a child that would have been old enough to be on the trip in the summer, it was definitely talked about all summer. And I as a board member felt we were taking on responsibility that I don't think any one of us here wanted to take on.
Did they complete a facilities request form to use the space for this meeting? And can we be, the middle school's already done. I think we need to be very clear that these are not connected to the school other than involving students from the school. But if it is an outside activity, they should be requesting the space.
It's a very, very fair question. Do we know the answer to that question?
I can't answer that question right now. Didn't know if you could look at it. I can't answer that question right now. We could certainly, if the meeting is scheduled and parents are expecting to attend, we could see if there is an off-campus location that's available for them to meet, or we could table the meeting till the future. Would you have a preference?
I want to double check. They may be doing it by Zoom. I'm not sure if it's, I cannot, without looking in my notes, which I can go into, but I can't actually recall if it's in person or whether it's on Zoom or some other meeting site.
But you don't know if it's virtual or live.
Correct. That's the word I wanted, was virtual. It's in person?
So again, if you would like us to table it, Dr. Johnson has said it won't negatively impact the trip. So if you'd like
Truly
to.
an outside entity of facilities policy, they should pay. But if indeed it is an in-house organization facilitated by the teachers who are in charge of the program, yeah, another shade of gray issue.
The invitation.
This is all part of, I apologize.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I was thinking this is all part of the conversation at policy committee, because we have discussed the range and variation of ways local districts are handling these situations, because we are not alone in the challenges of having a tour company manage a trip that involves a group of students who all go to the same school, that is chaperoned by staff members from that district, not in their capacity as employees of the district during the terms of the trip. So it is a complicated situation, and we have been at all ends of the spectrum, from me saying no more trips to let's try and make sure that children continue to have access to cultural experiences that are enriching, and we provide access and opportunity for them to learn about it and still maintain the legal lines of separation for supervision and responsibility. I'm diving into the policy committee meeting at this point.
Yes.
But, this is an important policy matter for the board to decide as we go into the next round of trips, because I've said to Dr. Johnson and to the high school and middle school team now, I won't do this again unless the lines are more clarified. It's not worth it to me for the amount of time and energy it takes for our team and for the concerns that parents have raised.
Can I ask a clarification question on process? So my understanding is right now we're at a juncture where some board members are suggesting that we don't address what's on the agenda. And so first, I'm curious, is that even allowed, or what is that process?
It would require a motion. to
And so it
table
would
it.
require a motion, and it would have to be a majority to carry it. And so I would suggest that we focus on that question, because we're getting into a policy committee meeting. And so the question is, are we striking it from the agenda tonight, or are we voting on it?
I would move to table this item.
First of all,
until after the
I
policy.
love in the last meeting.
I know, we're all like,
Guys, here we are, they're getting in on that. I like.
No, no.
He's very engaged today. So, Dr. Tarataski, did I hear from you a motion to table
Yes.
this item?
Mhm.
Is
Yes.
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay?
I think we should do a roll call again.
Yeah. I got 5-3 for the EAs, but let's do roll call.
There's 9 of you, so it can't be 5.
I didn't study math.
That's why we should do a roll call.
Yes, please.
Dr. Aberly,
I was yay for tabling.
Mrs. Bell,
Yay for tabling.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yay for tabling.
Mrs. Hubley,
Yay for tabling.
Mrs. Hughes,
no.
Mr. Jordan,
No.
Dr. Taratuski,
Yes.
Mr. Needleman,
No.
Mr. Bedard.
Nay.
It's 4 nays, 5 yeas to
All
table.
right, it'll be tabled. And this is the beginning of a new era of 5-4 votes on all items, I predict. That's good. So thank you to the members of the public who had comment on it. That obviously sparked a bigger conversation that needed to be had. And we'll ask the administration, one, to make sure that this is addressed in the next policy committee meeting. And we should follow up on the facilities request.
It is scheduled for the Spartan Forum. And there's 62 people signed up.
Yeah, but in modern world, easy enough to redirect to a virtual meeting, of course. And then we'll bring this back once policy committee has had a chance to review.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Great, that was fun. So we will postpone the overnight field trip request that was on the agenda. Ms. Green, you captured everything? We're good? All right, great. Speaking of fun, we're going to move to our next item, which is an acceptance of donation. And let's spend a little bit of time on this one. The Board of School Directors accepts a donation from Ann Lieber in the amount of $300 to support the Erdenheim Library. Any comments or questions? A big thank you from the board. Is there a motion on this? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? I already asked that. So we're going to go ahead. Any in favor, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? All right, we're good to go. Thank you again. On to the policy updates that was overviewed by Mr. Jordan earlier. The recommended action this evening, the Board of School Directors approves the following revised policies for adoption with a single reading. They are Policy 102, Academic Standards, Policy 105, Curriculum, Policy 137, Home Education, Policy 209.2, Diabetes Management, and Policy 918, Title I, Parent and Family Engagement. Is there a motion? And a second. Thank you. Any comments or questions? Just to thank you again, the Policy Committee, for the work you guys do on these. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Those will pass. Next, substantive, that's a hard word for me, substantive changes to policies. We have just two here. Policy 123, Interscholastic Athletics, and Policy 815.3, Text Messaging Privacy, which is a new policy. Is there a motion to pass these on their first reading? Thank you. In a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Great. Under property, just have one item. and that is CM3 Building Solutions. Recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves the proposal with CM3 Building Solutions to provide and install licenses to district cameras in the amount of $30,592 under CoStar's contract number E 040E2319. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second. Any comments or questions?
I have a question. Are we replacing a software? Is there like, did I forget something?
Sure. No, this isn't a replacement of software. This is putting licenses on all of our cameras so that updates are timely and they come through the cameras remotely through CM3. So this is something that if the software is not installed, we don't get continuous updates. It doesn't mean the cameras don't work. They're just not working at capacity that we would like them to work with the latest software.
And I saw in the work order that it talks about 8 designated cameras with AI technology.
That option was included as just a price point. We are choosing at this time not to move forward with that option.
Perfect. Thank you.
Other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions on this one? Okay, that will pass. Now, clock is running long, so thank you for sticking around. We're going to do public comment on non-agenda items, and we'll turn it over to Mr. Needham.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bedard. At this time, we'll take comment on non-agenda items. I know there was someone who wanted to speak before. There is somebody who is joining us in person who has signed up. Is that Mr. McGlinchey? Okay, terrific. Why don't you come on up? As a reminder, we do have a 3-minute time limit. Great. All right. And I'll see if I can save you a bit of time. You've put on the sign-in sheet that you're on East Pleasant Avenue?
That's correct.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.
Go ahead.
All right. Good evening. My name is Meredith McGlinchey. I'm a Springfield Township mom of a 7th grader. And I'm also happen to be a 1996 graduate of the school district myself. I am here tonight to continue the ongoing discussion that parents in the school district would like to have with the district regarding computer usage in schools. Yes, I do agree that it's gotten better with the removal of YouTube from the middle school cafeteria. However, I would like to continue to push the district's leaders into asking themselves, can we be better? 30 years ago, when I roamed the halls of Springfield Township schools myself, we had computer labs for completing research or learning how to format digital documents. 30 years ago, our test scores in reading and math were also roughly 30 points higher. And I took all data from the Public School Review website. In 2014, 87% of Springfield Township middle school students tested proficient in math. By 2015, according to the same data, 56% of students were proficient in math. In 2023, that number stands at 48%. So what's changed? I know it might be easy to push this 30-point drop on COVID-19. However, the drop began well before the global pandemic. There are, of course, other factors that could have affected these changes. Increases in personal electronics for children, rising poverty factors, the implementation of Common Core math. However, it would be unwise not to confront the reality that as the world becomes more technological, so too did the landscape of Springfield Township education. I went through this year's budget and noticed $1,676,503 earmarked for purchase professional and technical services. And I wonder, is it worth it? Is it worth it to have children on screens for several hours a day, destroying their posture and putting them at risk of myopia? Are we getting the results we seek with regards to math and reading scores for the money? Is the distraction that our children experience in schools worth the expense? My son reports that kids still do use the Chromebooks for personal entertainment. He says that in any class, there's 3 to 5 kids often attempting to watch YouTube or do something else in the Chromebook other than their classwork. He also reports...
Yeah, excuse me, 1 minute left.
Got it. He reports that on some days, the Chromebooks are hardly used, but on others, they're used for 3/4 of a class period, adding up to hours in a school day. And I wonder if there can't be a better way of educating middle school students. For the record, I am a middle school teacher myself. I've been teaching middle school students for 20 years in a neighboring district. And I see how distracted and agitated students can be when Chromebooks are in use during class time. I play digital whack-a-mole all day long with Go Guardian, locking devices when they're being misused. As a teacher, it's exhausting, and I wonder, is it worth it? Is there an in-between? Can we teach our kids computer skills for the modern age, as the state requires, and also ensure that they leave this district with critical thinking skills and a sound ability to focus and study? I think so. Perhaps if we consider going back to computer carts in each classroom, or just having several computer labs throughout a building, we could take away the on-desk distractions and replace them with old-school hard work. Students could have access to tech when it's beneficial, but it wouldn't just be sitting on their desk waiting to distract them. And I want to be clear, I have seen improvements. My own son recently completed the paper version of a cell organelles project because he knew the digital version would not fly in my house. He took his time to build little foam cafeteria tables with food. He added Lego figurines and a complete 3D approach to his poster. And I'm hoping that moving forward, the district and admin can question the educational value of the constant access to Chromebooks in the hands of children. If you're
Mrs. Lynch, that's time.
I got it. All right.
Thank
I just would hope that you would consider putting the Chromebooks in carts and away from my son, who likes to Google answers and play video games. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see that anyone else who is joining us in person has signed up to speak. Oh, do you see a hand raised? Okay, if you would, please let us know who you are and where you live in the township.
My name is Erin Finnegan and I live on Wainwright Road. I was not planning on speaking today and I actually came to support Meredith, but the EF tour conversation, I attended the middle school informational session last week out of morbid curiosity because I was not going to send my 13-year-old off to Puerto Rico with strangers. There were no EF tour people there. It was only district employees. It was the 2 teachers running it and the principal. So they did get up and say at the very beginning, this is not a school. I don't remember the exact verbiage. It's not that it was sponsored, but you do contract with these with this outside company. But in hearing the testimonial today, I think it raises some questions as to what guidelines, what policies are covered. And then when something does happen, are there ramifications at school? Because there's this intermingling of school employees. So I wanted to dispel some things that were said earlier, that there was no district employees. It was only district employees that were there. And the other thing I want to say is we heard many times, you want to make sure that there's not a disparity in access to the information. And I want to make sure there's not disparity in access to the cultural aspects of it. So when the trip is $2,700 for 4 days, 4 nights. It's like 4.5 days, 4 nights. You could send an entire family to Puerto Rico for that amount of money. I thought it was incredibly expensive, incredibly drawing a line between the haves and the have-nots in the community for the people that can pay and the people that can't pay. So I went there, was like, I cannot believe people are actually going to send their kids, 13-year-olds, middle schoolers, with strangers. That to me was, off the wall, but maybe in high school it makes a little bit more sense. There's a little bit more freedom. But the cost of these trips is really going to be driving a lot of division, I think, in the community as well. So I didn't have plans, so that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak? Okay. And the folks who are joining us online, if you wish to speak, please raise the digital hand. And I don't see that any hands are raised, so I think we can probably close this portion out.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for comments. We have a couple of announcements about future meeting dates. We have an interim board meeting tentatively scheduled for Monday, November 3rd, 2025. It'll be a hybrid meeting. As always, we will be here in person, of course, in the high school library. And our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Also hybrid, but we'd love to see everyone in person. We have some committee meeting dates. Tomorrow, property committee will meet. That is October 22nd, 2025. At 8 a.m. Thank you. And Finance Committee will meet Thursday, November 19th, 2025, also at 8 a.m. Both of these meetings are virtual. and you can find dates, times, and registration information on the district website. With that, I want to thank again our departing board members, Ms. Hughes, Dr. Taratusky, Ms. Hubley. You guys have made a huge impact, especially tonight. Great dialogue and great working with and seeing you each lead in the community. I'll turn it over to Dr. Yannicone for any parting comments.
I'll just see the property committee members tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a good night's sleep.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.